Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, and welcome to Command Power, the show in which we discuss all things Magic the Gathering with a focus on Commander. And today we have another episode in our Spoiler Spotlight series in which I talk about, well, spoilers and tell you what my thoughts are on them. But before that, just a quick reminder to click subscribe if you enjoy my videos. We're well on our way to 1 million subscribers and your support means everything to me. And today we're going to be talking about the card Doors of Durin. For 3 colors, 1 red and 1 green, it's a legendary artifact with whenever you attack, scry 2, then you may reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, put it onto the battlefield tapped and attacking. Until your next turn, it gains trample if you control a dwarf and hexproof if you control an elf. When I first saw this card spoiled, I thought it was really good, and I didn't even see the last clause about the elf and the dwarf. That's not going to come up that often, but the rest of the card is already really good. So when I see a card like this, what I think is similar to when I talked about Brazen Cannonade, this has the best possible wording of any similar effect that we've seen before. It's going to trigger whenever you attack. So it's not in a creature, it doesn't have summoning sickness, and you can trigger it the turn it comes down immediately. That's pretty good in my opinion. You don't have to wait till your upkeep, and you don't have to give it haste or anything like that. The downside to these kind of effects usually is that they're very random and you might easily miss the top card of your library, but having a scry 2 tacked on there makes this so much more likely to hit. At the very least, you can make it pretty likely that you're going to hit a creature when you factor in the scry 2, and you might even get to choose which creature you want to hit, or maybe even gamble if you don't hit anything really good in the top of your library to see if you can hit something else the third card down. It becomes even stronger when you factor in the fact that you don't need to return the creature to its owner's hand or anything like that. It just stays in play. It's tapped and attacking, so it's kind of like it gets haste. You get all the enter the battlefield abilities, and it just stays in play afterwards. There's not really any downside to this other than the fact that you're only getting it once per turn. Still, that's a very strong effect to have. Obviously, 5 mana is expensive. It's not a cheap card, and you do have to have a creature in play for this to be really good because you really don't want to be waiting till next turn. But once you meet those requirements, which aren't really very difficult to meet at all, then this becomes an insanely good Magic card. Now, just as a quick disclaimer, I'm evaluating this card as if you're basically always going to hit with it. If you're playing this, you should be at the very least in a deck that is incredibly creature heavy and probably has 35 to 40 creatures at least. If you have 33 creatures in your deck, you can almost always guarantee that you're going to hit with this. So having more than that, like 40, really means that it should be very difficult to miss. As usual, this is going to be very good in decks that care about attacking or ETB effects, and luckily Gruul is the perfect color for those kind of decks. There's all sorts of different decks that are going to be interested in this that are running a lot of creatures. Specific effects that you want to look for when you're playing a card like this are things that let you scry. The more scry you have in your deck, the better this becomes. Obviously, you want to be manipulating the top of your library, so any card that's going to allow you to draw something and then put it back on top, or put things back on top of your library, is going to be really solid, because then you're no longer working with random information. You know exactly what's on the top, and you don't need to rely on the scry 2 to get you there, even though, as I said, scry 2 is usually going to be enough to get you all of the way. Specific commanders where this is going to be good are going to be commanders that double your attack triggers as well. So you have something like Wolfgar of Icewind Vale. This is obviously going to be fantastic because you're going to trigger this ability twice whenever you attack with any creature. That means double the creatures you're getting in and double the scry, so it just makes it that much less likely that you will miss. Strionic Resonator to copy the trigger is obviously going to be really nice as well. And then the usual kind of suspects, so something like Henzi, which I mention all the time on this channel, would really like this because it has a bunch of creatures and it wants to cheat on mana cost and take advantage of ETBs. So this just fits very well in that kind of deck. If your deck really meets any of those conditions, you're probably going to enjoy this card. So there you have it. Those have been my thoughts on this new spoiler. What do you think about this card? Please let me know in the comment section below. I read all comments and respond to all of them too. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to click like or subscribe. It really helps the channel. And until next time, take care. Woo!